Arkina and Tank. They hooked up that night, and she was extremely happy, yet had a hangover like nobody's business, and had no recollection of the night before. But as he stayed over, he filled her in the morning. So that happened. As everyone was going about their business and everything was well and dandy as always, a big group of guys got together and went down to the Devil's Valley, a huge mudding area everyone goes to party and make out, with a massive obstacle and mounted mud course that stretched for 4 to 8 miles, with nasty mud not meant for most trucks, but the gazebo area with a picnic tables were about 100 to 150 feet away from the mudding parking area for the ones that just tailgated, and their mother were there. And Arkina was standing between Tank's legs as he sat on his tailgate with his hoodie on and beer in hand, and a small cooler by his side full of Bud Light bottles as they chilled and watched people act dumb. The Odd Bunch. They were definitely that 70s show type of family in a lot of ways, as they were all unhinged, dysfunctional, but handled business when business needed to be handled. There wasn't a dull moment that passed by. They weren't making someone annoyed or laughing, then they weren't doing the job. But everyone has their twerks and tweaks and moments. No one is perfect. So Arkina became an independent model as they discussed it after dating for a few months, and he would manage her, and it went fairly well with no hassles or issues. But in this industry, there's bound to be issues, but they knew and were aware of so they were good there. Everyone encouraged her and backed her morally 1000%. We're happy for her and very proud of her, and she made good money doing it, as she has her own summer calendar and a spread. High Times Magazine, We Be Gangsta, wanted her to do a photo shoot for their music video and sit on the car during it, dressed ghetto fabulous like J-Lo. She declined. Say what? But Tank wasn't so sure about all that. But he said the only way was all the boys would be there also, and so she did the gig, and they paid her $45 cash in an envelope as they left afterwards. As Tank replies, "Well, that went well, better than I suspected, but they all looked like they wanted to be Tupac's. Great rapper, but I don't know what you'd call them," laughing hysterically. Pac? As Diesel replies with, "They're a pretty good black rap group as far as the lead singer goes and his bros, but them backup dancers look like they were constipated and had diarrhea." as they laughed as they drove home to shower and unwind for the rest of the day. So it was Friday afternoon, about 3 p.m., when Tilly swung by Tanks and told him that there was a big dirt bike trial event happening in town and everyone's gonna be there. As she got in her truck and left, so did he. But she lied. She went to the house, telling them all that, not explaining anything. But they all showed up. Nervous as hell. Arkina, oh man, I'm nervous. Tilly, look, woman, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna give it your all you got. You got this. Kinda. With her helmet already on, she took it off and was going great. Her jumps were on point and she hit every mound nicely and getting a good 2 feet of air and was ahead in third place. It was a rough run, but exhilarating, as after about 45 minutes of that, they took a 20-minute break before landing a 2. Round 2 started. Everyone was at the edge of their seats, not knowing who'd win. Will all the tough competitors. By the fourth and final run, she was so ready to be done. All of her muscles ached, but she kept going on and she was doing good until another rider sideswiped her right at the end and took first place. She'd got second, but the problem was her bike went out of control and the bike went tumbling down an 8-foot embankment drop, and she wasn't moving as Tilly yelled, "It's Arkina! It's Arkina!" And everyone rushed to her aid, but she wasn't moving. She laid up in the hospital in a coma for weeks. The doctors weren't sure if she would ever come out of it due to how deep she was in psychosis. With consciousness, Tank stayed by her side every step of the way. Months went by, still nothing, no sign of movement or any motor skills kicking in at all. Just still with tubes hooked to her going everywhere to machines. When Tank wasn't at the hospital, he was at home and kept to himself. And when he was near others, didn't say much of anything at all. Very quiet and seemed distant, but they all knew it had to do with Kina. So they let him vent in his own ways as they'd all talk before parting ways. As they were all gathered in the hospital, Tank aggressively jerked Fooz's arm around the corner and pushed him up against the wall. "So when the hell were you gonna fast up, you hooked up advantagely with the Vixina? Getting plastered when you slept with her, huh? You got her, I'd like, understand this, you got her plastered so you could sleep with her. Is this right? You did that to your best friend. How many times, Fooz?" As he just mentioned the one time.